24 hours at Daytona. You're tuned to IMSA Radio with the final stages of a very unpredictable race. This time Patrick Pilet gets a great run into the tri-oval. He will be able to overlap the Ford GT, gets his front wheels level with the rears of Dirk Muller. Muller's maybe going to run a little bit deeper into the corner. No, he doesn't even need to do that, but he had the Porsche on his outside line. And for the main part, if you're the GT on the inside at turn one, you can control that situation. What you don't want to do is run too wide into the corner and allow someone up your inside. Very difficult to defend from that.
Yeah, it really is, isn't it? But great battle between these two. That's ongoing. And the two leaders, Philippe Albuquerque in that leading car, 1 minute 37.24 last time around. The previous lap was 1 minute 37.24. Yeah, identical to the thousandths of a second. Tremendous lap time. Ricky Taylor was fractionally quicker, but he's not quite close enough still to make that decisive move for the lead. And we're coming up for 10 minutes remaining, 10 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in this 24-hour motor race.
And even at this late stage of the race, Michael Christensen is finding speed in the Allegra Motorsports car. Just managed the best first sector of that car in this race. So Michael Christensen catching a little bit of clean air by the looks of things, doing a 55.9, and that has helped to eke out his class lead in GTD to 1.4 seconds over Christopher Mies. Nose to tail again between the two Cadillacs, leaving the International Horseshoe. At the start of the lap, they were 0.35, 1 of a second separating those two cars, and into the West Horseshoe. Taylor getting tight again, under braking. Albuquerque, though, much more on his marks, I'd say, than I have seen him, needing to keep this neat and tidy. It's a wide car, the Cadillac, and as long as he's sticking to his marks, his clipping points, Ricky Taylor really can't find a way through.
And that was a critical corner for Philippe Albuquerque. He needs to get off that turn 6 and onto the chute that leads into the banking to maintain his advantage when they get to the bus stop.
Nose to tail as well for the GTLM fight. Here comes Pilet around the outside at the International Horseshoe. Can't find a way through there. Dirk Muller stopping the Ford GT perfectly, turning it right and getting good power nice and early out of that car, the low slung Ford GT. And the roofline on a Porsche is not exactly high, but it looks like a big car compared to that svelte GT out front. Porsche trying to find its way through, but no joy so far.
Yeah, Ford versus Porsche, and that's the same a little bit, just a few car lengths further back, basically. Number 912 car just forced its way past number 68, so split the 69 and the 68. That is a battle for 5th, 6th and 7th in GTLM.
9 minutes to go, and the overall race leaders are working their way through the kink on the infield into the right-hander at the International Horseshoe. The white car ahead of the blue car and blue and black car of Wayne Taylor Racing. Gap opens up to about 7 car lengths as they head for the kink. There is traffic to deal with, though, in a moment or two for Philippe Albuquerque. Quite a lot of GT traffic out of this corner, the second tight right-hander of the lap. Now, if the two prototypes encounter this slower GTD traffic on the banking, that should be fine. There's plenty of space to get through. What they don't want to do is encounter back markers on the narrow infield sections. Again, Pilet in the Porsche can draw alongside the Ford GT, being forced on that inside, or the outside line, though. Dirk Muller's doing a tremendous job here to make sure the Ford is stopped late, but sufficiently to get the car turned in. We haven't seen anything like a moment that, for instance, James Collado, he made a slight error earlier on that allowed just enough of a car width for Muller to get through at the time. And Muller wasn't going to be asked twice, but so far, nothing like that kind of error from Dirk.
Indeed, massively experienced Dirk Muller, and he's been winning. He won championships in over here, way back. When was the one for Dick Barber Racing, wasn't it? In a Porsche on that occasion. That was back in 2000. On the GT Championship.
Contact out front, that's between the two leaders, is it not? Because the Cadillacs have, well, I didn't see the incident myself. I saw the number 5 car going wide and there was contact maybe with the 10. Need to see that again, but it means that Philippe Albuquerque goes wide at turn number 1 and Ricky Taylor is now out front. So the number 10 machine leading the way And this was perhaps down to the traffic again that I was mentioning. So heading off the tri-oval, here comes the 10 car, braking but not sufficiently. And there was no gap there for me.
No.
Ricky Taylor went for a closing door, and it was a spin in the end for Philippe Albuquerque, wincing on the Pratt perch there. Oh man, we really didn't want it to come to a head like that. And 7 minutes to go.
Yeah, that's Wayne Taylor there, and you could see what he thought of that. Okay. It was written all over his face, wasn't it? Oh no, is what he meant, what he was thinking, even if he wasn't saying it.
Pile.
I think he's going to be asked to give that position. I'd be surprised if he wasn't by race control. I think there was a little bit of a gap, but not a Cadillac width.
No, quite right. And Collado is slowly gathering pace here and trying to reel in, or certainly being able to reel in, Patrick Pile and Dirk Muller. The top two in GTLM haven't changed positions. Meanwhile, it's side by side between the Montreplast by Land Motorsport car, not for position though, right, because it's side by side with the number 19 BMW. But what I was... Okay, it's the BMW going by there. It looked like for a moment the Audi had so much pace it was actually able to draw level with a GTLM car. Not the case. The 29 machine of Christopher Mies, though, is trying to get a hustle on here. 1.2 seconds is the gap to Michael Christensen, so that's bubbling nicely as well in GTD. I need 3 eyes at this point in the race, because that's the frustrating thing about this. You can see too much of the track. It's all going on in front of me. It's just a question of working out where to look next. 6:55 laps completed. 4.6 is the gap between Ricky Taylor and Philippe Albuquerque, and that incident involving Albuquerque and Taylor will be being reviewed as we speak. 5 minutes to go. And from Taylor's perspective, there was a gap, but he was never going to get far enough alongside Albuquerque before the door was slammed shut in his face. And Albuquerque actually did a tremendous job to get the car moving as quickly as he did. Spun it round through a full 360 degrees, worked out where he was on the track, which way the track was going, and has rejoined just 3.9 seconds back, you know. But that may well be decided out of Ricky Taylor's hands.
And I reckon Johnny Collado now closer to Pile than Pile is to Muller in the GTLM first, second and third positions. Yes,
7/10 of a second the gap Muller to Pile, half a second back to James Collado in the Ferrari, the 488. And the Ricky Taylor car struggling. Oh, there was hesitation there as well for the 10 car. He went for a gap that wasn't there. Sandwiched between the wall and the Montreplast Audi. Desperate to try and thread his way through both a GTD and a GTLM car there. Had to check up big style. And that will have drawn Philippe Albuquerque a touch closer. 2 seconds now is the advantage.
Yeah, and inside 4 minutes to go in this race, and you know, I'd be really surprised if he gets away with this, Ricky Taylor. I'd have been inclined, if I was on the pit box, they say, look, let it go back past and then try and make another move. Well, now the longer he leaves that decision, the less opportunity he's going to have to make any pass.
But then,
because they're not going to get the white flag. Are they going to get the right flag next time around? It's going to be awfully close.
The thing is, if he is given a penalty, is he likely to be put behind Mark Goossens, or are they guaranteed a top 2 finish?
No, I think they're guaranteed a top two finish, even if it's a drive-through, which it probably wouldn't be.
I know it goes against the kind of fair play of motor racing, but is it almost worth the risk for Ricky Taylor to stay where he is and just risk being put back to second place post-race? 2.2 seconds is the gap at the moment. Taylor back to Philippe Albuquerque. We kind of know, well, the decision is being made in the next door office. Sadly, we're not privy to what's going on in there, but as soon as we get information, of course, we will tell you about that. 2 minutes and 45 seconds, 2 minutes and 40 seconds, and I'm hearing that there will be no further action on that incident. No action on the incident involving the 2 Cadillacs out front. Ricky Taylor legitimately leads this race. There is a 2-second gap between Ricky Taylor and Philippe Albuquerque, and Action Express Racing will be being informed of that. Well, 2 minutes and 15 seconds to go.
You know, what comes around goes around, and I reckon that restart, the number 31 car impeded the number 10 car. It looked like it for me. I mean, I didn't get a chance to look at any replays of it, but certainly that was my impression from looking out of the window as the cars came across the line. There was no call in that situation, and there was no call in this situation either. But look at this battle for GTLM.
Porsche versus Ferrari, 488,
and
it's
all of a
James
sudden,
Calado.
Dirk Muller isn't in the sight, is he? Because
No.
he's pulled out a couple of seconds all of a sudden.
Yeah, 2.1 is the gap now. 0.2 of a second between the Porsche of Pile and the Ferrari of James Calado. Let's see whether Calado can get an overlap into the braking area. I don't think he can find an inside line. Paul Trustwell.
Yeah, this lap and one more to go. And of course, once these two go through, then we have the GTLM battle to finish their race. So it'll be the prototypes that finish their race first, no matter what, and then the GTLM cars.
Tweet from Alex Capadia, who is a contributor often to Radio Le Mans and IMSA radio coverage. He, in his opinion, was ambitious from Ricky Taylor, but he was overlapping the 5 when the 5 started to close the door. Albuquerque's fault for him. At worst, 50-50, says Alex Capadia. A minute to go on the clock. The white flag is being prepared now and about to be displayed to Ricky Taylor. So Ricky, 6, 5, 7 laps completed. He's coming out of Speedway Turn 4 now, and here is the white flag displayed to Wayne Taylor Racing and the brand new Cadillac. Over the line it goes, the DPI VR, and into the turn number 1 for the final time. We have 35 seconds on the clock. The lead margin has come down again. 1.5 seconds between Ricky Taylor and Philippe Albuquerque. Meanwhile, James Calado trying to find a way by the Porsche of Patrick Pile. Can't do it there at the West Horseshoe, and Pile almost deliberately running out a touch wider than he would do ordinarily, so that the Ferrari can't find a way up the inside at turn 6 either. What's the exit speed like for the 911 car? Pretty good. Up onto the banking. There are cars to negotiate here, and quickly the 911 swoops back down to the double yellow line there with the clock now reading 0. We are on the final lap, that is confirmed, but the leaders are so close here. 1.5 seconds has become maybe a second as they head into Speedway Turn 1.
And in GTD a couple of laps ago, it looked like the Porsche of Michael Christensen had a pretty comfortable 2-second advantage. They're going now into Turn 5, and there's less than a car length between those two in the battle for GTD.
So final time right down the back straight. This is going to be a first win for Cadillac Power and a 7th for GM engined efforts under 4 different brands: Chevrolet, Pontiac, Oldsmobile and new Cadillac. Just the question is, which one's going to win it? Ricky Taylor surely has enough from here. It is going to be so tight. Remember, this is a 24-hour race. They're coming out of Speedway Turn 4 now. It's going to be Wayne Taylor Racing to take a victory they came so close to just a couple of years ago. Over the line they go, with the checkered flag being displayed to Ricky Taylor, who wins the Rolex 24 by 0.671 of a second. And Wayne Taylor cannot believe it down there in Wayne Taylor Racing's pit garage. Meanwhile, side by side for James Calado, who's going to be on the outside line in GTLM. Please don't throw it off, boys. Patrick Pile versus Calado for second position. This is all playing very tightly into the hands of Dirk Muller as Michael Christensen is about to cross the line in the number 28 car, the 28 Allegra Motorsport Porsche 911 GT3R, and the 911 RSR provides Porsche with yet another extension to one of the longest podium scoring runs in world motorsport. Now over 55 runnings of this race. A tremendous effort from them. We're still waiting for the GTLM cars to head over the line, and Dirk Muller leading that class in the number 66 Ford GT. Remember, the Ford GT debuted here 12 months ago. They had so many problems, but the second place battle is yet to be decided. They're both going to be on the podium, I hope, but in what order? The Porsche versus the Ferrari, the 488. They're through the bus stop, still in the same order. Pile ahead of James Calado. Meanwhile, the Ford GT's working its way out of Speedway Turn 4, and Dirk Muller for the 66 crew about to come over the line. The ESMs are going to finish side by side for a photo finish, but it is Ford that win here, and so close further back. James Calado desperately trying the inside line, the outside line, cannot find a way by the Patrick Pile driven Porsche in the end, and Ford win GTLM 52 years after the first of 2 overall wins by the Ford GT40. And you can tell the family resemblance, I'd say, between the Ford GT40 and the Ford GT. Dallara score their second win after 2002. I'll give you some more of those statistics right after we hear from Jordan Taylor with Shea Adam.
Jordan, it's a childhood dream realized to win the 24 Hours of Daytona. to do it with your parents on the pit box as Max's last race. I know you're emotional, but what are you feeling right now?
Just relief. I mean, we've come so close so many times, and to be honest, I'm just proud of my brother. He made it happen today, and this all goes out to Konica Minolta and for Cadillac. It's great. I'm speechless.
Congratulations.
He's not normally speechless, Jordan Taylor, but you can hear the emotion there in his voice. Boy, that was a hard-won victory, John.
Oh, magic stuff. And Johnny Palmer, we've sent him for a lie down in a darkened room. Marvellous stuff from Johnny Palmer. Coming up, Michelin post-race tech. Keep the questions coming in at IMSA Radio, hashtag Michelin PRT. The whole team are getting on the Dallara Cadillac to head to
John, it's Nick. Can you throw? I'm going to try to get your hand.
And Nick Damon talking to us there. Nick, that was on air.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know I was on air. I do apologise. Down now with in the celebration of Ford. Just trying to go a quick word with Joey Ham from the 66. Joey, fantastic result. You won yourself a watch.
Oh man, this is. I told my family